For years, Can believed these people were his world. He spent countless hours with them, yet deep inside, something never felt right.
From the outside, he had people around him, yet there was a feeling he could never quite explain, a feeling that he was slowly becoming less and less like himself. For a long time, Can thought the problem was himself. Maybe he wasn't interesting enough. Maybe he wasn't confident enough. Maybe he simply wasn't enough. The strange thing was that nobody had ever told him these things directly. The feeling grew slowly over many years.
One evening, while watching the city below, Can asked himself a question he had been avoiding for years. What if the people around him were shaping his life more than he realized? The idea made him uncomfortable. Because if it was true, something would need to change. He looked at years of memories, years of laughter, years of friendship. Walking away would not be easy. The real fear wasn't losing those friends. The real fear was not knowing who he would become without them. And for the first time in his life, Can began to wonder if staying comfortable was actually keeping him trapped. For years, Can feared being alone. But now he was discovering something surprising. Being alone and being lonely were not the same thing. The first few days felt uncomfortable. There were no messages, no invitations, no familiar routines, just silence. Most people never realize how much noise exists in their lives until they finally spend time alone. For the first time in years, Can started making choices that belonged only to him. Something unexpected was happening. The more space Can created in his life, the more he began discovering who he really was. One weekend, Can decided to attend an event alone. It was a small decision, but sometimes small decisions change everything. He noticed something different about these people. Nobody was trying to control him. Nobody was deciding who he should be. For the first time in a long while, Can felt accepted without having to shrink himself. Something unexpected was happening. The more space Can created in his life, the more he began discovering who he really was. One weekend, Can decided to attend an event alone. It was a small decision, but sometimes small decisions change everything. He noticed something different about these people. Nobody was trying to control him. Nobody was deciding who he should be. For the first time in a long while, Can felt accepted without having to shrink himself. The fear that had trapped him for years slowly began to disappear. The world was much bigger than the small circle he once depended on. Can had not changed his friends. He had changed his courage. And that changed everything. For years, Can believed he needed certain people in order to be happy. Now he was discovering that happiness had never belonged to them. It had always belonged to him. The old version of Can would have stood quietly on the sidelines. This version was finally participating in his own life. He was no longer afraid of spending time alone. In fact, he had started enjoying his own company. Every new experience taught him the same lesson. There were far more opportunities in the world than fear had allowed him to see. The more he stepped outside his comfort zone, the more he realized how small that comfort zone had been. Freedom rarely arrives all at once. It grows quietly, one brave decision at a time. As his confidence grew, other parts of his life began changing too. New ideas appeared where fear once lived. The world hadn't changed. The city hadn't changed. The opportunities hadn't changed. Can had changed. He finally understood something that had taken years to learn. Staying somewhere out of fear is not loyalty. It is surrender. The moment Can stopped asking for permission to be himself, his real life finally began. Months earlier, Can had believed his life was controlled by other people. Now he understood something different. Most of the walls around him had existed only inside his mind. Confidence rarely appears overnight. It usually grows quietly through small actions repeated again and again. Those small moments begin to change a person's life. The same challenges still existed. The same problems still appeared, but now Can faced them as himself, not as the person others expected him to be. The people around him were different now, not because they were perfect, but because they respected who he was. For years, Can feared losing people. What he never realized was that he was losing himself. The biggest changes in life are often invisible. No dramatic moment, no loud announcement, just a person slowly becoming who they were meant to be. Many people stay trapped because they confuse familiarity with happiness. They are not the same thing. Growth begins the moment a person decides that fear will no longer choose their future. If you constantly feel smaller around certain people, listen carefully. Life is too short to spend it hiding your real self. Sometimes the people holding you back are not enemies. Sometimes they are simply the wrong environment for who you are becoming. The day Can accepted that truth became free.